here for the president. Now coming up on our left-hand side here, this large tree happens to be a unique member of the ficus family. It's known as the banyan tree. Originally planted here on the island 100 years ago by Myrtle Crossgrove. One of those unique features, folks, happen to be the little twigs you see dangling from the top of the tree area. Well, happen to be aerial roots, and whenever one of them touch another part of the tree or ground, it begins to form an entire new trunk. That is the largest banyan tree we have on the island today. I'll be sure to point out a few more as we pass by the different points of entrance. Now the building coming up here to your right-hand side, just at the back of the parking lot, dates back to 1890. It still sits right here in the middle of Jackson Square, named after the former president, Andrew Jackson. Jackson Square has been the original location of all one. And the very first church property we'll talk about was Memorial Church. Folks, Henry Cornish was originally born in Maryland in 1793, born into slavery, and was later assigned to a railroad project in Port Leon, Florida. That's actually he was able to save up enough money, purchase his freedom, and of his wife Lila's, and made it down here to Key West. And they became known around the island or in the community. Palm Star just in front of the entrance indicates that building is located on that award, my apologies, is given to them by the Historic Foundation of the Florida Keys in using matches here on the island as a referee. Bahama Village originally settled in the mid-1800s by the Bahamians, and they worked in Key West lucrative industry such as shipping and
Сейчас подъезжаем к дому Хемингуэя.
Coming up on your left-hand side, guys, behind this red brick wall is the Ernest Hemingway home, originally built in the 1850s by shipwrecker and merchant Asa Tipp, and that beautiful French colonial architectural design of a building. Now, it was later purchased in 1931 by Ernest Hemingway and his wife Pauline. It was actually given to them as a wedding gift by Pauline's uncle Gus. Built today on the property, they have expansive gardens, the very first swimming pool built on the island, and descendants of Hemingway's six-toed cats. They offer self-guided tours throughout the day, folks. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. That's also where Ernest Hemingway
Короче, было построено в 1850 году.
On your right-hand side here, you'll see a smaller example of the banyan tree. Directly behind it, you'll see the Key West lighthouse.
Дерево.
Now, the building in front of the lighthouse is
Тоже больше 200 лет.
That's because it took two families to operate that lighthouse 24/7. That building has been restored back to its original look and is open as a museum. Now, the original location of our lighthouse happened to be Oak Street, near the southernmost point, also just at the edge of the Whitehead Spit. They worked for my apologies, factory workers lived. They worked for the manufacturer Eduardo Backhead Jr. He's responsible for building the very first working trolley here on the island. And at the time, these were the orange and green, powered by gasoline and propane vehicles you see giving tours today. These happen to be mule-powered working trolleys that would pick up those cigar factory workers, take them across town, and then bring them back home after a hard day. Stand-up guy, Mr. Gato, will actually pass by his home in just a few moments. Now, on your right-hand side, just off of the United Street, is a Truman Annex Naval Air Station. This is the housing for the Navy branch of the military. The air base is located 7 miles north of here. That's in Boca Chica Key. Now, we've had a strong military presence here on the island, folks, from the Navy. Originally, Commodore Porter sent down a group of fast, maneuverable boats to the island to rid the island of all the pirates in the surrounding waters. Military presence of the Navy being felt throughout World War I and II, the Spanish-American War, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Vietnam War. Let's hear it for the military. Off to your right-hand side, the red, white, black, and yellow buoy marks exactly 90 miles from here to Cuba. And we're actually closer to Cuba than we are to the mainland.
Это самая южная точка материковой Америки. Тут люди в очереди стоят, чтобы сфоткаться возле него. Такая очередь.
She wrote a book about Key West shipwreck industry called Reef the Wild Wind, which later became a motion picture starring actor John White. He actually played the bad guy in that movie. And you can find memorabilia of Reef the Wild Wind back at our shipwreck treasure museum. Right-hand side, folks, this happens to be the original southernmost house built by Judge Finding Harris and his wife Florida Curry in and the beautiful clean and architectural design. Quick fun fact about the building. All of the original electrical work was installed by Thomas Edison while here on the island during World War II. That's when he was experimenting with depth charges. He later went and built 40 underwater weapons for the Navy here on the island as well. Wall Street, where the southernmost beach resort is today. However, Mr. Gatto didn't like the way the sun fell on his terrace, so he had to move to that side of the street by fuel power, making it the only odd-number building on that side of New Falls. The address still reads 1327. On the left-hand side here, you have the yellow building with the green shutters, the Key West Butterfly Nature Conservatory. That's the gift shop there to your left-hand side. Now, if you look all the way to the rear of the property, still to your left, you'll see the tall glass greenhouse. That's actually where they keep all the butterflies, over 1,000 to be exact. It's the Cuban Social and Beneficiary Club. That's where they do many
Кубинский стиль, да, скорее
The
всего?
building was still used all the way up into the year 1973 by the Cubans going in place to gather and throw video notes extravagant dance parties here on the island. However, one of those parties got a bit out of hand in the year 1973.
Amerika'ya başkızdan bozu olur. Dihaz, Meksika kurugan, Kuban kurugan.
Of course, in keeping with all of those
Bozu olganını satı olganı, satı olmaganını bozu olgan.
Now we are approaching
Dihaz
South
satı olgan
Liberty
ekan,
Airport.
оказывается.
Ko'pchiliklar sotib olgan.
Stop. This is where you'll be able to use your hop-on, hop-off service to check out any of the nearby attractions in the area. Now you'll be able to head right back down off of New Falls Street and have the Key West Butterfly Nature Conservatory. Just down Truman, if you take it right there at the stoplight, you'll be back in front of the Key West Lighthouse and the Ernest Hemingway Hall.
To'xtatib qo'ygan, da.
And down the street of New
Yo'q,
Falls,
chiqib ketadimi?
take a right on South Street. You'll be able to
Urmaydi,
take a
qara.
picture in front of the southernmost point.
Trak bo'lsa qoqardi.
Black, black, and yellow
Unda
police
orqasidan
parking,
kelmaydi.
exactly 90 miles.
O, zo'r bo'ladi lekin.
Please watch your steps along those handrails. Backing down while facing a train is always recommended. Many of my family members attended elementary school here on the island. Now they still have the convent building up there immaculate to your right-hand side in the middle of the property. The convent building dates back to the year 1878. Fortunately, that's a hospital during the Spanish-American War that treated over 600 wounded soldiers. Also patients who had yellow fever. One that registered disease here on the island. Now, if you look at the opening of this parking lot here, just at the rear of the property, you'll see the small prayer ground with the at the back. And the oldest Roman Catholic church here to your right-hand side. Now, that prayer ground was actually built by one of the nuns of Mary Immaculate, or the Mother Superior, by the name of Sister Louise Gabrielle. Sister Louise Gabrielle was actually responsible for heading over to one of the higher-ranking naval officers over at the barracks of Curie Court and offering the convent building as a hospital to all of her nuns and nurses. Anywho, Sister Louise Gabrielle suffered from 3 severe hurricanes while here on the island, and this was in the early 1900s. So upon dedicating that stone grotto she had built back there, with each piece of coral rock that was placed to form that structure, she said a small prayer. Originally built by 200 working men here on the island, 12 of them were offered positions as fire once they completed the building. Again, built in 1907. However, it didn't open until the year 1908 due to a fire that started inside the firehouse. Imagine that. Alright guys, my apologies. That quiet zone again. Feel free to talk once yourself if you're in that with the intent of people.
عجب خوشی می‌گیره. همه یه شغل بخیر. شکلش هم والا. ماشین دروازه وای. انا هو يشيل قرا هو يشيل ديمان ده من خوشی لش واسه işte damogan petkillarda bu dachada bu zagrada dacha. Istəyən nəşəşki yaşamaq nə deyir? Kiliş. Uçturmuş xoşuyla başladı pasayı olar mı? Nasıl mesela? Duruşmayı da siyan dursa gerek 1 milyon. Daraqlar. Bakıyorlar. Красивый домик.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. We have officially cleared that quiet zone. We're going to take a left here off of United Street at the stop sign. We'll go down Reynolds and head over to what the locals call the second beach of the island. I'll tell you how I earned that wacky nickname as soon as we make it in the area. I'll say it. There's a key named after the Matakume tribe, actually, right before you make it to Bay of Hondo. Anywho, later in the 1700s, when the Spanish explorers arrived into the island, 1702 to accommodate all of his passengers. Here's one of the man to your right-hand side, the beautiful Casa Marina, house by the sea. Now, the Casa Marina dates back to the winter season of 1920, when it first opened for business. All right, we're going to take a Left here, right onto Atlantic Boulevard, we have officially arrived to the Clarence S. Higgs Memorial Beach of the island. Folks, you'll notice how calm the waters are here against the shore. The reason for that being 5 miles offshore from this beach is where you'll run into that coral reef of the island, the third largest living coral reef in the world. It actually stretches from Miami all the way through Key West down to the dry Cartoon, so that's 170 miles long.
О, вчера мы здесь это снорклинг делали.
That's where the Atlantic Ocean and Gulf of Mexico come to a meeting point here on the island. That body of water happens to stretch from Key West all the way down to the island nation of Cuba. Now, if you make it out here to the Higgs Memorial Beach, whether it may be by moped or golf cart, if you bring the car, however you make it back out there, you make sure you be
Точно, выложи в YouTube. Выложи в YouTube и всем дам ссылку. Кому интересно, будете смотреть. В YouTube.
The term second beach of Key West. That was a terrible nickname. The locals take over there. But on your right-hand side here, this is that second Civil War fort dating back to the year 1867. Never officially used as a war building, however, due to the development of the rifle cannon. Since the Washington administration
Это от гражданской войны, оказывается. Еще со времен гражданской войны сохранился. Какое-то военное предназначение было, наверное. Это здание. Пляж шикарнейший, белый песок. Оказывается, когда-то в Кубу хотели мост построить до Кубы. И не достроили, короче. Ну, хотели начать вот отсюда. По каким-то причинам не стали строить.
Кубинский зона Кубинский зона
Баш зона?
You definitely want to try out some of that Cuban cuisine, if I make a suggestion. Head over to the 900 block of Catherine Street. That's where you'll arrive to El Cubanite Restaurant. That is the best Cuban food restaurant in town, you guys. No doubt about it. If not, try out one of those Cuban sandwiches. This is one of the cafe shops around the town. I'll make a suggestion for a sandwich for you to try. The Cuban mix always gives me a full belly. Very tasty too. On your left-hand side, these real homes are passing by. There's a new shotgun homes or shotgun house. They call it a shotgun house because the front door and back door are perfectly aligned with one another. Growing up on the island, my great-grandmother told me while growing up on the island as a little girl, that venting was originally designed to create air current throughout your home. This was before the widespread use of air conditioning. Now, rumor has it that if you were to point a shotgun to the front of the door, while the back door is open, the round, if you fired a shotgun, the round would enter the back door without touching anything on the side walls. That is considered a rumor. I, for one, wouldn't be willing to test that theory. No way to say. I'm going to take a left, guys, onto Pacheco Street. We're going to be headed right onto Francis. We're going to take a right there and pass in front of the Key West Cemetery of the island. And then take a left onto Southern Street, you guys. Alright, now these homes that we're passing by, look up to the top of the roofs, either on the left or right hand side. You'll notice most of them are made out of metal or tin. The metal or tin roof actually became a county requirement after the Great Fire of 1886. A terrible fire that burned here on the island for 12 long hours, causing $2 million in loss of property. It actually became a county requirement, also used for fire protection. They would prevent sparks from leaping from one house to the other, sort of containing the fire. Now, we mainly use them for collecting rainwater as our freshwater source before the invention of the Navy's water pipeline that's connected underneath all those bridges to the mainland. So the water from the rain, of course, would run down these metal and tin roofs, collecting into the side of the buildings. Those were the gutters. Down the gutters into a large cement tank built into the ground, known as a cistern. We still have active working cisterns. I'll see if I can point out a house that has one in front of their home to this day. Now here on your left-hand side, this is that Key West Cemetery I mentioned. The original location of the cemetery was near the southernmost point, also at the edge of the Whitehead Spit. However, just like the Key West Lighthouse, the Havana Hurricane of 1846 disturbed and destroyed many of the grave sites. So, in order to pay respect to the fallen, they
Короче,
had
это
to move
место,
to higher
где
ground.
людей хоронят, я
And
забыл,
it's
как
now
на русском.
located dead center in the town.
И такое бывает,
Now,
оказывается.
there's actually a statue of solitary bronze located in the middle of the
Русский язык
cemetery
забываю уже.
that's honoring over 27, my apologies, that's honoring exactly 27 USS-made soldiers that lost their lives at the battleship Maine. Again, it is a statue covering his eyes, overseeing all the victims, right underneath. That's off of Francis Street, Olivia, Angela, and Windsor Lane. Now, as we take this left here on this other street, well, you can notice along many of these porches and roof lining and fences, some fancy
14 января сегодня,
scroll trim, if you will, mainly carved
21 года.
out of that gingerbread style by the ship carpenters in the early
Zima.
1900s here on the island. This was during the Victorian age.
К слову.
And as I mentioned, many of them were carved out of that gingerbread style. Now, coming up on your left-hand side, if you look along the roof lining of this home, you'll see arrow shapes that were carved out of the gingerbread style, and cute little gingerbread men in the next house carved out of gingerbread style there. Quite crafty, actually. Alright, guys, now we are entering another residential quiet zone. I'll be right back with you in just a couple seconds.
Nerede harbitte tarixiy istoriyasi bor, ha? Bundoq bor. Eski uylarda, ha? Eski uylarda. Тут у каждого дома своя история. Они все исторические, старинные дома. По 100, по 150 лет. Минимум по 100 лет.
However, they're all playing to the effects of the Great Depression in the 1930s. Now, the federal relief administrator at the time, that was Julius Stone, he found Key West became the poorest city per capita that was a response to that Great Labor Day hurricane of 1935. Completely destroyed our East Coast Railroad, cutting us off from the mainland, and also decimated the Upper Keys, killing over 200 citizens here in the Florida Keys. And again, it completely wiped out our railroad. And cut us off from the mainland once again. Key West became isolated. The very first tour attraction, I'm trying to turn right up the one way. And it is because of tourism that our island thrives again to this day. So we like to take all the visitors that come down to the southernmost city folks. Alrighty, now we're going to be traveling right on up this hill.
Карантин никто не отменял еще.
See an extension of the roof area that's known as a captain walk. I'll tell you what those were in just a couple of seconds. Now, as I mentioned, we are now chugging up the tallest mountain peak in Key West Coast. This is Solaris Hill. Now, right at the intersection of Elizabeth and Southern Street, we are now 18 feet above the sea level. And with a sudden change of elevation, if you is start to feel a little bit funny, folks, well, at least coming up on the left-hand side, we'll see another example on the top of this home of a captain walk. The home is the home of the first native to make a fortune, Captain Talon Jr. And at the top, you'll see his captain walk, mainly used by sea captains during the shipwrecking industry to spot all the ships that ran aground.
Капитан Гагану?
Now, they were also used by the wives here on the island, you guys.
Дом какого-то капитана был.
I'll show you the third and final example of a captain or widow's walk. Infamously earned that nickname. That is where the wives of the sea captains would head up to the top of those platforms. Third and final example of a captain or widow's walk. See your left-hand side on the top of Sarah Beth.
Верхушка.
Alrighty, guys, now we have turned on to Simonton Street.
Короче, эта верхушка служилась тем, что оттуда можно было посмотреть на море, наблюдать, какие корабли переплывают. Довольно большое здание тут. Ресторан первый этаж. Маркиза. Антикварный магазин.
It dates back to the year 1877. Originally, the building consisted of wood framing.
1877 года постройка. Церковь. Кий Вест United Methodist Church. 1877 года. Довольно старинно. 150 лет.
And when they came into the island, They were expecting a car to pick them up. For whatever reason, the car was being delayed. So while they waited for their special chauffeur service, they waited in a small apartment above a Ford dealership here on the island. He lived inside where Ernest Hemingway first lived. That is the Casa Antigua. Located right here on Simon Street.
А, это суд.
Alright, we're gonna head into stop letter C of the tour, guys. This is where we're gonna take our 10-minute break. Off of the train 108. I'll call you back to the train after our 10 minutes. And then again, we will continue us off the tour heading into the historic seaport area of the island. The building that happens to be once known as the William Curry Assumption at the warehouse. That's what William Curry stored over 100,000 pounds of tobacco products for all of his large scale factory shops. Today, it's known as the Hemingway Rum Company or Papa Pilon's Rum Company.
Это ром компания, производит ром. Хемингуэй ром компания. Назвали в честь Эрнеста Хемингуэя, который здесь жил. Кстати. Это первый легальный ром-завод, можно сказать. Кубинцы же все время пили, производили, любили от рома. Земля была кубинская когда-то, поэтому тут остался с тех времен мини-заводы по производству рома.
The gentleman's restroom, head straight through on your left-hand side. As the women's, some of the nearby attractions happen to be those distilleries that we just passed back there behind us. All the nearby attractions on the world famous of Wall Street and back at Malibu Square, the Shipwreck Churchill Museum.
Тут небольшая остановка у нас.
Please watch the step load onto the handrails. As you exit the train, backing down is always recommended while facing the train. Folks, if you have any questions, feel free to come up to the front. I'll be more than happy to answer those for you.
Как это открывается? Вот. Окей, 10 минут остановка. Так, у нас вода тут на месте, шоколад на месте. Я здесь. Так, посмотрим паровозик. Что оно из себя представляет. А, это на газу. Именно метане, скорее всего. Ну да, такой простенький, спартанский. Вот он как выглядит спереди. Наш паровозик. Это здание большое. Вот, написано, построено в 1891 году. Очень хорошо сохранился, скажу вам. Очень-очень красиво, очень достойно. 130 лет, да, считай. Тут туры продаются, всякие водные развлечения. Ну, сувенирный магазин, как и везде. Если честно сказать, чуть отличается от других сувенирных магазинов, в других местах, я имею в виду, в других туристических местах. Тут более-менее, ну, не такой уж китайский ширпотреб, который однообразно везде продается. Тут можно найти какие-то уникальные вещички. Вот, например, вот такие. Из фарфора, как бы, как типа кафель, как это называется? Плитки. Оригинальные плитки какие-то. Да, прикольно. В кухне или в ванной, когда ремонт делаешь, когда кладешь, можно одну или две положить. Кстати, вот я себе такие браслетики вот купил. Тоже здесь нашел. Прикольный. Вот эти. Из морских этих, как их называют, не знаю. Ракушек. Это красные ракушки. Или может покрашены, не знаю. $14. Маленькие. Это все оригинально, не пластмасса, не фарфора, это все оригинал. Ну, я имею в виду. Настоящий. Вот еще такое есть, вот, коробочки, набор ракушек. Вот наш шахбос. А? Так, видео у нас слишком длинное получается, поэтому я думаю, сделаем из 2 частей. Это пускай будет первая часть, 30 минут, и будет вторая часть. А то никто не любит, правильно? Длинные видео. Скучновато будет, поэтому разделим. Так что увидимся во второй части. Что, пока. Люблю, целую, обнимаю.